original Duo's Den is one of my most popular bases, so I figured this year let's improve it in every single way. The Duo's Den V2 is 29,000 materials cheaper to build, has 5 times the number of large boxes for storage, it's way more spacious so you could even fit a couple extra friends if you want, without the use of any complicated bunkers or external TCs. This truly is the ultimate base for people who want something simple, cheap, easy to build, defendable, and deceivingly strong. So let's get right into it. We'll start off our tour of the Duo's Den V2 by heading in a single door airlock to ensure that you don't get deeped on. We have a window for visibility straight out the front of the base, and then a super long garage door path that goes all the way through the main starter. Over on the right, we have a place for 6 electric furnaces, or regular ones if you don't have them. And then we have 3 armored main loot rooms on the starter floor. We also have an auto turret under the jump up that looks all the way down the corridor. Tucked all the way around all of these garage doors is our main TC location and our workbench. For being a single TC base, the upkeep is incredibly cheap. Heading up the jump up to 2nd floor, you can see we have sort of a mini open core. We have 3 large 6-box loot rooms that can actually be min-maxed with the new barrel update and a couple of auto turrets to watch over it all. Heading up any of the 3 jump ups, you can see we have ankle biters onto the roof. If we come up to the bedroom floor through this door, you'll see that the single door also acts as a roof peak. We have that on all 3 sides, and we have windows on the others. We have room for a few beds up here, a locker, some boxes, and a couple of vending machines that are drone accessible. Again, we have another single door airlock here to make sure that you don't get deeped on from the top. Heading out onto our roof, we can see that we have 3 auto turrets that see absolutely every angle. Our roof doubles as a shooting floor, and we have tons of great Patrico peaks here. This makes it nearly impossible to hit you, while super easy to hit somebody else outside. You can also crouch on these large boxes here to get long angles, or hop up to use the peaks and look straight down. We also have these wooden shopfront peaks that were shown to me by Spinky. They give you an equivalent amount of space as a Patrico peak, but on something that doesn't require a half-height floor tile hanging off the front. They also act as mobility in case you need to get off your roof. You can easily open them and slide down the side of the base. Finally, on the roof, we have 3 spots for wind turbines, so there's absolutely no reason you should run out of power in this base. Now that you've seen your next base, let's get into the build. To celebrate 100,000 subscribers, I'm doing a new merch drop, but there's a huge twist. Anybody who purchases any of my merch will automatically be entered to win over $1,000 in PC gaming prizes. I'm giving away an RTX 3060, 2 Logitech G Pro Superlights, 2 glorious GMMK2 mechanical keyboards, and 2 crucial T500 SSDs. For every $5 that you spend on the store, you'll automatically get 1 entry. That means if you buy a t-shirt, that's 6 entries to win. A sweatshirt is 10. There's no limit to how many entries you can have, so if you want to support me as a creator, get some sick merch, and potentially win one of the 7 prizes, make sure you check out the first link in the description and the pinned comment. Thank you again for 100K, and let's get back to the video. We're going to start off by putting down the main core's footprint. I'm doing this for illustration just so you can see where everything goes. We start off with a hexagon, and then we put a triangle on 3 sides to make it a big triangle. On the remaining 3 sides, we'll place 3 triangles off of each until we have the shape that you see here. At this point, we'll head over to these 2 triangles and upgrade them to stone. These can be the 2 that you just start with though. Wall them in and put a ceiling on it. We'll put a double door frame in the front. Our TC goes on the back triangle here, and then you can either use a single door frame or a window frame. Always make sure to code lock your TC. Heading out of our front door, we can upgrade these 4 triangles or build them if you don't have them yet. We'll wall this in as well and put a double door frame next to our existing one. Put a ceiling on the entire section. The right 2 triangles will eventually be a 4-box loot room. For now, we can place a couple on the ground and then use the 3rd triangle for a few furnaces. Keep in mind, a large battery will go here eventually, so don't put a shelf over top of it. We can also put our tier 1 or tier 2 workbench in this triangle next to the TC. This is where the battery will go, so just make sure nothing blocks this socket. And we've got our goofy little starter put down. Now it's time to expand it out a little bit and make it properly secure. To expand the starter, we'll first head out of our door and upgrade these 2 triangles. This will be our jump up into our 2nd floor core. Put a half-height jump up and a double door frame here. Keep a double door on this bottom frame to prevent people from going deep from above. The next triangle section on the right will be another 6-box loot room, so upgrade it, wall it in, and make a half-height shelf across the entire thing. Our next section is going to be our temporary single door airlock. So we'll put a window on the left and 2 wooden single door frames on the right. If you plan on getting armored doors later on, you might as well just upgrade these to stone. But if you prefer garage doors, just keep them wood. Then the last section here is another 6-box loot room. So just build a half-height shelf, put a double door frame on the front, and you're good to go. The last thing we have to do to seal this up is put a ceiling on it and toss down a couple of single doors and the window in our airlock. And there she is. If you prefer to have roof access at this point, you can build it out. Just use half walls here, ceiling tile on top, and a double door frame in the front. Just keep in mind though, if you don't have a garage door there, this does leave you at risk of getting deep down from the top. Now that the entire structure is built, we can place down some of the missing deployables. Each of these 3 triangle sections are just 6-box loot rooms, and if you have the barrel DLC, you can actually fit a bit more in here. Whenever you get all of the resources, you can put garage doors on all of the missing double door frame sockets, just for a little bit of added security. When we get to the final 3 triangle section, we'll make a 4-box loot room on the right, because remember, our battery will go where those furnaces are now. And then we can pick up the furnaces whenever we're ready to replace it with a large battery. This is how we'll seal that section up. And just like that, we have our entire starter complete. There is a little bit of funkiness before you get it to this state, but once you're here, this is a great starter to live out of. To start off this next section, I've upgraded everything to its final grade. This loot room over on the left is all sheet metal, and the other 2 are all armored. The last part is the TC compartment, which is armored as well, and I've upgraded the ceiling. Just keep in mind, you can upgrade things to whatever grade you can afford at the time you can afford it. Moving on to the second floor expansion, we'll find our jump up and then go to the 2 triangles opposite of it. We'll build up a little half-height shelf just like this, and these will be our jump ups to the next floor. On each of the 3 triangle sections, just go ahead and wall them in and build them into a loot room. The base is about to come together super quick from this point. Put a double door frame over the jump up, and then we can put a ceiling on the entire floor. Then I'll build out the half-height shelves and all of the loot rooms. Just remember to place down double door frames on every available socket here, and we can garage door spam them later when we have the resources. Heading over to any of the 3 jump ups, we can use a couple of window frames to act as our roof peaks. Also put a triangle frame here and then connect the floor tiles on the outside. Repeat this step on the other 2 sides of the base. These become ankle biters eventually, but in the meantime, they'll actually kind of work as an early game shooting floor. You can then seal the top with a triangle floor piece. Then we'll place a single door frame facing outward on each one of them. 2 of the remaining sockets will get window frames, and then the 3rd and final one will get a single door airlock here. I like to put a window on this as well, so if somebody is going deep from the top, you can pop that window off and deal with them. To seal off both our bedroom floor up here and our second floor core down below, we'll just place down some single doors and a couple of windows. The great part about the way that this base expands is that very early on in your wipe, with very few resources, you already have your starter, your main second floor, and a bedroom floor with some early game peaks that you see here. We'll make sure that we replace any of these double doors with garage doors so we're able to jump up them. And at this point, we just have to get the deployables down. So I'll go ahead and speed through that process. If you guys are liking these videos, please make sure that you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton and I really appreciate it. I still can't believe that we hit 100,000 subscribers. You guys are the absolute goats and I appreciate every single one of you. Eventually, once you have electricity set up, we can put some turrets right here. The nice part about these actually being behind a garage door is that they'll only be exposed after that garage door has been splashed open, so it might catch raiders off guard. At this point, this is how our base looks. It still needs honeycomb and a shooting floor and a final roof, but it's coming along just fine. We can start off honeycombing our base by coming to our front airlock and building out these foundations. We'll then put these ceiling tiles and then wall off 3 of these sections. The last one will get a double door frame. Next, we'll place 3 more triangles that'll act as our new airlock. We'll put a wall, a window, and then a single door frame here. Raise it up a half height and then put a ceiling on top. We'll finish off our single door airlock, and then we can add a second double door frame. At this point, if you want to use garage doors instead of armored single doors, use a machete to chop out the door frames, and then we'll replace them with double door frames. We can put our single doors on the front and a reinforced glass window right here. And this is how your new airlock should look. We'll head over to the other two sides of the base and simply honeycomb these ones. There's nothing really special that has to go on here. Remember, when you get to this new 3 triangle section, you'll do them 1.5 high, not too high. So there should be this half height offset from the roof. And again, on the third side, 2 foundations, 4 walls, and then we expand out into the new 3 triangle section that's 1.5 tall. Now that all of our side honeycomb is on, let's honeycomb the loot rooms. We'll come to the remaining 3 sides of the base and honeycomb them 2 floors high. This will ensure that all of your loot rooms in the entire base are at least 2 walls to loot. We're making our way over to side 2 out of 3, and we'll repeat the exact same process of just honeycombing 2 floors high. And finally, we'll wrap it up by going to the third side of the base and completing the honeycomb. And just like that, we've honeycombed every side of the base. Now come to the window frames where the ankle biters are and put a couple of half walls followed by 3 frames. This will be the start of our shooting floor. It's easiest to just build these now so then we can orient ourselves later. We'll do the same thing here on the second side and then again on the third. Because this base is small, I'm able to not use symmetry at all in this video, and I hope that helps you guys out. I do see comments about it once in a while, so this one's for you. Now we're ready to build our shooting floor. We'll come over to the 3 triangle sections that aren't raised up yet and put some half walls and window frames there as well to create a breach peak. I'm putting this triangle here in the middle so then we can place a turret on it later if we want to. On the very top, I'll place some low walls in wood. These aren't super necessary. Aesthetically, they just look nice once the base is done. Then we'll finish off by just placing 3 triangles on the top for our wind turbines to sit. Now, normally people would tell you to put window embrasures on like this, but actually, if you take a look at this, you can see that the bottom portion of the window embrasure blocks a ton of your line of sight straight down. So we put them on the inside to avoid that. This will actually help out later too, once the Patrico peaks are on those. Let's repeat the exact same process on the other 2 sides of the base. Also, if you have the Brutalist DLC, I would highly recommend using a horizontal embrasure here because it gives you an insanely tight peak. However, if you don't have that, I would just use a vertical embrasure instead, just for the forward facing part. Now that we've wrapped up the breach peaks on 3 sides of the base, we have the other 3 sides of the shooting floor to build out. Make sure that these 2 walls are a default texture, not one of the DLCs, and then we can go ahead and place the square. It won't be placeable if you use a DLC skin. Then we'll place window frames on both sides with a half wall on top of them. In the middle, we'll place a half wall with a double door frame. We can then place a ramp on the square. We'll build a few roof tiles off the top, create a little bit of protection for this turret triangle. Because of the positioning of these turrets, they can see absolutely everywhere on the roof with no blind spots. We'll place some horizontal embrasures on the window frames and then a wooden shop front on the double door frame. You can see this gives you about the same head glitch as a Patrico peak without any half-height floor tile hanging off the front of the base. And you can actually just open up the door and slide down the front side of the base if you need to get off the roof quickly. Now again, we're just repeating the same exact steps on the other sides of the base. While I'm building out this final shooting floor section, I just wanted to remind you that my new merch is live and available for you to purchase. Just head to the link in the description or the first pinned comment. And remember that every $5 you spend on the store gets you one entry to win some of the 7 amazing gaming prizes that I have, valued at over $1,000. Now we've successfully built out all of the shooting floor peaks, but they're looking a little bit exposed. So we'll take care of that in a second. First, we'll fill out all 3 of these spots with our wind turbines. This should be plenty of electricity for a base this size, and it's great because they're super accessible and easy to get to without doing a bunch of twig buildups. Now we need to add some half-height coverings to all of those window frames to make them proper Patrico peaks. We'll start off by going to all 6 sides of the base, and in these corners placing 2 triangle foundations, followed by a full wall that has 2 double door frames on top of it. At the very top we'll put our triangle pieces, and you can see that those cover all of the windows perfectly. Now, if we want to make that gap even tighter, we can upgrade them to the brick DLC skin. It doesn't affect your ability to shoot out of it, but it makes the gap even smaller for raiders or other people roaming around to shoot back at you. To finish off those bottom sections, we can place roof tiles on the top and then put a half-height shelf throughout both triangles. We'll put single door frames on the front, and eventually when we have our compound up, we'll be able to put shotgun traps in these sections to limit the raider's ability to move through the compound. The only exception to all of this is going to be right where our front door is. We don't want a shelf there, and you can use a single door or you can use a double door. It's totally up to you. I think I would just put a garage door on this, or maybe even leave it blank. To begin building our compound, we'll head to each of the 3 sides of the base that have a square shooting floor off of them. Place a square foundation and then 3 triangle foundations for our bed pod. Wall it in and add a couple of windows on the side. We'll use a frame instead of a foundation to attach it, just so it's not soft-sidable. On each of the 2 sides, place a square foundation with double low walls. Then go ahead and remove the foundation after you've got the low walls attached. These are just here to seal up our furnace funnel. I like to put a couple of low walls on top of this section, so then when we have a barricade here, you can't jump over it. Place a couple of beds, a double door, and then we'll put a couple small boxes in the pot as well. On the window frames, I'm just using vertical embrasures and glass windows. That'll finish up the compound bed pods. I have symmetry on, so it did it on the other 2 sides of the base for me. Just go ahead and repeat the same steps. After you have all 3 of those down, we can come to the other 3 sides of the base and build our gatehouses. We'll build off 2 squares and upgrade the second. Put a couple of triangles on the end, and then we can put window frames on the corners. Put a ceiling on and some single doors down. If you want to keep this base entirely single TC, you can attach these directly to main like this. However, if you want 3 external TCs for a little extra protection, we can build off any design that you like. I'm building off with 4 squares and then ending in 3 triangles. Make sure to use double half walls facing the base and upgrade them to sheet metal. We'll build a sheet metal compartment for our TC here and then place it down. And the second triangle you can use for an extra large battery if you want one. Now that it's all sealed up, this is the triangle I was talking about that you can put a battery in. Just like that, we have a 7 rocket external TC, and all we have to do is attach it back to the gatehouse using frames. If you're going to sheet metal it, make sure you sheet metal the frame of this door and the foundation as well. Above the gatehouse, we'll add a half floor as well so we can have a turret pod. Again, this is a pretty standard gatehouse design, so if you want to use 2 turrets, 1 on either side, and have some drop boxes in the middle, you're more than welcome to. I just tried to reduce the whole base down to 9 turrets so they can run off 1 battery. We'll add some Patrico peaks to the sides by adding a triangle foundation with a half floor and a ceiling tile. After we've got both of those in, we can place down all of the missing deployables in the gatehouse. Placing down a couple of small boxes will help you get a good crouch angle on the Patrico peak. Also, if you want to plug the top half of this, you can always put a couple small boxes up here as well. It just keeps you a little bit safer when you're peaking the angle. As you can see, it covers basically everything that a raider would see, especially if they have any elevation on you. As with all of my videos, placing the compound couldn't be any simpler. Line yourself up with this window frame on the gatehouse and just alt look over to make sure you have the right amount of distance. And there you go. 2 walls per section, 12 walls total. We'll go ahead and repeat the exact same steps. Line yourself up with the window, head over, alt look, and place the final walls. You can see how those low walls will prevent anybody from jumping on the bed pod. Now, if we stand on top of our gatehouse here, we can easily place the furnaces at any time after the compound is down and we get a full seal. This creates a really tight funneled compound that is going to be a massive headache for any raiders. After we've got all of our furnaces down, we can place down some shotgun traps in all of the single door frames. You can also use the Petrico sections to add additional shotgun traps into your compound. And we are completely done. Just kidding, I forgot to add barricades on the gatehouses. But after that, we are completely done. Congratulations, you've built the Duo's Den V2. A massive improvement in every way to the original. Now at this point, it's a tradition every year in January or December. I put together a little Christmas village where a bunch of my viewers get together and just build some fun little roleplay cabins. It's always a great time and I love seeing the creativity. So let's get right into it.